which is the fun bit.
It's certainly. There's a couple of things there. One is when I do a fair bit of government work, and there's a lot of complaint about government from within people I talk to in government about risk aversion. So rather than being overly optimistic, they're overly pessimistic about what the minister or what wants or what could be done in a time frame, and that it just flows on and more pessimism. And so in many departments, things don't flow too quickly. So it works both ways. But what you were saying about the CEO saying to risk, go and have a look at it, herein lies a problem, and also a shift that's been happening. The risk people got known as the fun police, right? Because that's exactly right. We came in and looked at things and said, excuse me, but that doesn't look too good, and that doesn't look too, that looks crazy. And so we get a bad name, right? And that's because most of the decisions that have been discussed at the board with the exec, the decision's already been made by someone. And along comes someone from risk, poking holes in it, and we get a bad name. So it used to be people would come to me and say, how do I get the CEO to listen to me? Now there's a lot more of, how do I convince the business to come to me earlier so I can help them early enough? Yeah. That's a more common question I get now. So I think there's a lot more CEOs that get the potential for bad decisions and are happy for people to do the right thing to get it right. But I think a lot of the people who are overly optimistic haven't got the value yet, and so they don't come early enough. And that's certainly the focus with my book, Winning Conversations, to help more people.
That is a very, very important message. I mean, that's the reality of risk management. If you're only talking to people once a quarter or once a month, you're guaranteed to miss all the decisions. Risks have already been taken. And the best you can say is that yesterday you've taken a bad decision. I mean, nobody's going to love you for that. No. With integrating into the actual decision-making process, and this is why it's so important to not have a complex process which runs on some sort of schedule, but rather have many different risk managements that kind of stick in different decision-making points, that you actually have time and tools to do something before the decision is being made, and say, yes, you can still go ahead and do that decision, but if you change some of the wording in the contract, or if you change some of the assumptions that you've made, you would actually increase significantly the chances of making that decision good.
And from the organisations I've worked with, either for a longer period of time or I've come back after 2-3 years, that have got it and run with it, while they might not be using the tools that we're talking about, they started having the conversations. So the whole flow of the year was a lot more of the conversations about what are the risks on this, and hopefully now what are the risks and how are we going to turn them into opportunities, because it's not just about risks, it's about the opportunities we haven't even thought of that this process will create for us. I think that's one of the where risk is so undersold. That a good process ends in creating more idea of opportunity for the decision makers, and they can do more than they ever dreamed.
Well, in fact, this is why I'm such a big fan of the better risk management tools, because Monte Carlo simulation, scenarios, decision trees, sensitivity analysis, that actually all of these tools don't show you risks. They show you the whole distribution of potential outcomes. And immediately you see the upside, the downside, you see everything. And that's, for me and some of the other risk managers, it's a normal conversation to talk about the whole spectrum of things, as opposed to, here's our list of our risks, here's a list of our opportunities. It's an encompassing thing. Any single issue may be turned into something positive or negative depending on the circumstances. But you did say something very interesting, which I want to pick up on, because this is something that risk managers are just not thinking about. And it reminded me, I did a presentation to the dean of one of the universities, one of the biggest universities in Asia, in Central Asia. And he basically said, we're a government-funded university, but we're brand new, we're focusing on innovation, and we're driving the agenda that we are better suited for the workplace than traditional old Soviet universities. And he's saying the problem I have with stuff is that they're scared of taking risks, because they're scared of Ministry of Education doing some audit on them and then complaining and giving them all the different issues. he said, I want to teach my people to take more risk, but not just blind taking risk, but understanding the risks that they're taking, understanding that the risks are acceptable and necessary to do proper business, and go ahead and take those risks. I mean, this is what Hans Lieser, the ex-CRO of Lego, calls. He calls it informed risk taking. Essentially, I mean, this is what risk management is all about, maybe. It's understanding what risks you are taking and feeling comfortable and brave about taking those risks.
I'd say it's taking risks eyes wide open.
Exactly.
And I say to execs, you can take any risk you want. I don't care. It's not my position. I'm just trying to help you go in with your eyes wide open so that you know that if it all comes up stuck, you are either really unlucky because it was a low chance that it was going to happen, or, well, it was almost inevitable anyway because you knew that you were taking extremely high risk, or somewhere in between.
Yeah.
You're right. Anything can happen. We can't predict the future, so all we can do is narrow it down, corral it, and do our best. And as Nassim Taleb says in his book, The Black Swan, essentially, because we can't predict the future, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't bet the house.
Yeah.